Thank you so much for this opportunity. I have been listening to these moms, and I've heard their story before. We met and we got to know each other, and listening to them has been just as powerful as the first time I heard it. And I feel a little emotional right now because I am the last one to speak. And I've listened, I can see their faces. That's who I'm looking at right now. And we teased about maybe calling our group like the 3 a.m. moms, because we've all been up at 3 a.m. Desperately seeking for something just like this. So thank you. Thank you for being in this with me and my family. I have some friends on the call today that have been my people. So I'm gonna get some tears out right now, and then I'm gonna talk about my stuff. Jeffrey, you are a little angel on earth, and I so appreciate you. And I did a lot of praying. And when you see the answers of your prayers happening, it's humbling. And so that's kind of this moment for me. Okay. I did have tissues because I know myself. So I have an amazing daughter. And just like some of the moms shared, she is an only child, and I took such care of her in vitro that my colleagues at work would tease me because I wouldn't even stand in front of the microwave. She was a perfect pregnancy, textbook delivery, and was a chunky, healthy, and continued to be a chunky, healthy little kiddo. She, looking back in 5th grade is when I see it. I did not see it then. So if you're a parent out there and you have a kiddo who is struggling to find health again, and you're thinking, damn it, how did I not see this? How did I not, just always remember that hindsight is always 20/20. And it doesn't matter because you're here now. So what was then, and what is here is now. So I believe our daughter started struggling health-wise in about 5th grade. By the time we got to 6th grade, which would be 2019, my husband actually was the one that noticed, and she played sports, and he coached her in soccer, and he noticed that she was like always cold and just kind of like not herself, just these little subtle things. And he was starting to question it, and we took her to a naturopath that we had seen at the time, and she tested for some food allergies, and she said she's not celiac, but she cannot have gluten. She's sensitive to gluten. And myself, I am the same way. So I was like, oh, okay. So, you eat gluten, you pay the price, but you're not going to die from this. It's just a sensitivity, and you might have to go to the bathroom extra, but, try to stay away from it. But she's a kid, and sometimes that would be a little difficult. So I'm going to fast forward. We thought that was the thing. And then in, March or April of 6th grade, so February, right? So now we're in 2020, and the world is starting to shut down, and there's this thing called coronavirus, and we don't know what's going on. And our daughter seemed to be losing more energy and just not herself. A pretty energetic kid, and all of a sudden all she wants to do is watch TV. She didn't have any energy at all. She didn't want to eat. She was just not happy, but she wasn't complaining about anything. And that's the thing about her. She never complains. She doesn't complain now. So we just didn't know. And, but now we shut down, and I'm a teacher, so now I'm home full time with her. My husband's a firefighter, so we're all home. And I'll always be grateful for, it's weird to say you're grateful for a world pandemic, but I was really grateful for that because it was all eyes on. And each one of these moms has touched on a few things that I was like, oh yeah, I could talk about that. I could talk about that for half an hour. I could talk about that, that guilt of not seeing it, and talking about parental guilt. And Selena was talking about, just like the doctor saying, make your son go to the bathroom. I remember my husband and I are like, these are fatty foods. You need, she wasn't gaining, she wasn't thriving. She had lost a bit. But I don't weigh her every day. I didn't know how much, So that was like March and April. We noticed she's not well. Something is not right. And I started making phone calls. And I think the biggest thing I want to share with anybody watching is you are going to have these moments that are going to stick with you. And they are the moments that are going to push you forward when all you want to do is just curl up. I started making phone calls because we're now in a world pandemic and everything is basically shut down. I was calling general practitioners. We had a naturopath at the time. She didn't really have a GP really that we had seen. When she was younger, yes. So I'm calling, I'm trying to get in with somebody. I'm calling Children's Hospital here in Seattle. And nobody would call me back, guys. No, nobody would call me back. It was like crickets. Like I would call, I would get the call center, and they would say, I'll transfer you. You can leave a message. I left a message. Finally, one day, I got this sweet young gal, God love her, whoever she is out there. And I was like, listen, I am not leaving a message. You are not transferring me. I have to see somebody for my child. I think something is really, really wrong. At this point, our daughter was losing weight drastically Now we were approaching crisis, if not in crisis. And talk about desperation, right? I am begging people to help me, and nobody would. So that sweet girl, she got a doctor to talk to us on his lunch break. And he was like, okay, what you're describing, I really think she probably has an IBD. And I was like, who the hell are you? Like, I've been talking to you for 3 minutes. What are you talking about? But that's their job. So anyways, we were able to get some tests done. He didn't order them, but I got a GP to see us, and she was having a hard time getting somebody to call her, but finally somebody was connecting with her, and they did some tests, and come to find out our daughter had C. difficile. So kind of have like two things going on now, right? And I have no idea what's going on. My child was perfectly fine, and now we're in a world pandemic, and now feels like she's dying. I don't know. So it was very, very, very confusing time. And even writing out some things for today, I was like, when was that? And I'm looking back at my files. I keep all my notes. And so C. difficile. So, okay, she has C. diff. How the hell did she get that? We don't know. Like, what? She hasn't been on antibiotics. She hasn't been in the hospital. Like, where did she get this? So we get the antibiotic for that. And within 3 pills, which is a day and a half, she felt good. Now, mind you, our daughter did not have frequency of 10 bowel movements a day. She did not have blood. She did not have pain. all of these things. We even had this time where we thought that maybe this was an eating disorder, because that's what the dietitians and I mean, like, we had social workers involved, and I mean, talk about confusion, right? So now we have C. diff. Okay, thank you, God. We have something to go with. Great. She's going to take the pill and we're going to heal from that. So my husband and I spend the next couple months like researching how to heal from C. diff and the diet for that. And I remember distinctly, and I've shared this with friends, one of those moments of begging God, begging him on the floor of my shower so my family couldn't hear me cry. Just give me a diet. Like, I know food has something to do with it, right? Because C. diff was in the intestines and we need to heal the intestines. So of course it's food. Give me a diet. Is it paleo? Is it this? Is it that? Whatever it is, God, I swear to you, I will do it. I will do it. Just give it to me. Careful what you pray for, right? Well, be grateful what you pray for, I guess. So I get the test results back, and her calprotectin, when she was sick, the height of her sickness was 2,300. I didn't know what calprotectin was. What are these things? I don't know what Albion is. I don't know what an IV. I don't know what these things are. But her calpro was 2,300. We took the medication and it went down to about 1,500. And so we're like, oh, okay, like we're doing it. Like we're on a path here. Then some time went on, not looking good still, not putting on weight, just kind of stagnant, like not worse, but not better, right? So we're in communication with the doctor at Seattle Children's, and he's saying, you got to come in for a colonoscopy, endoscopy. So 1 month before her 13th birthday, this was in 2020, another mom talked of this, like, how do you take this sick child, she's so frail, and put her through this? But we did. And he comes out and he tells us it looks to be Crohn's, and we're going to send out some biopsies and we'll bring you back in and we'll talk about it. So off we go. And we come back and the three of us are sitting in the room, and he comes in and he says, the official diagnosis is Crohn's, and here are your options. And just like all the moms said, we have this medication, but we need her to grow, and so that's going to stunt her growth, so that's not a good option. And we have these biologics. Here are your two options, basically, and cancer is thrown out. And at this time, I'm literally just trying to sit up, my ears are ringing. I think I'm going to have like a panic attack. I want to throw up, but here I have my child and I have to be strong. So here's one of those moments, again, one of those pivotal moments. He says you could do a feeding tube, and my child looks up at me and she has the most beautiful blue eyes, and she got her daddy's long dark eyelashes, and just her eyes are just something that I remember seeing first when she was born. And I'm looking at those eyes and she's looking at me like, I can't do this. What do you mean? So this is my life, she says. And at that moment, I wanted to fight or flight, and I didn't have any fight. I wanted to scoop her up and run and go. And he says, there's also this diet. Now, mind you, I'm in Seattle, so if you know anything about Seattle children, they're very well known for the nutrition aspect of it, and they are, thank goodness. However, in that moment, it was presented the same as it was presented to y'all. It's like, it's very restrictive. It's difficult. It's kind of like paleo, but much more, restrictive, and takes a lot of commitment and such. And so we're like, okay, well, we need some time. We need some time. We'll talk back next week or whatever. See ya. And he says, she can eat whatever she wants and blah, blah, blah. So we leave. And I don't know at what point I called my friend who's on this call. And I said, that family, that friend of yours that you've been telling me about, their daughter who has ulcerative colitis and they eat this diet, I think I need to talk to them. And he said, I already did it. I already did it. I'm going to connect you. So they had us over for dinner, and this beautiful family, they brought SCD yogurt, and we all know how important that is. And learning how to make it seems like you're in the in the chemistry lab, right? Like, how do you do this? So they brought that. It was a beautiful gift. That was on September 6th. It was my birthday. And 2 weeks later, September 14th is the day that I say we started SCD. And so that was almost exactly, we're coming up on 2 years. So I want to share some numbers with you guys, because again, whoever you are and you're watching this, either it's today or 3 a.m., 3 years from now, I don't really know, but I want to share the miracle part of this. Our daughter got down to 58 pounds. She was so sick. And that was in July of 2020. We started SCD on September 14th. And I made a few mistakes, right? You're like, sugar's in this? Like, why is there sugar in this? Things like that, right? Where you just uncover things. And Selena, the same thing, and went through my cupboards, and I just bought this, and I put it in boxes because I surely can't just throw it out, even though it's not really should. And we didn't eat horribly either. That's the other thing too. Like, I bought organic. We ate a lot of whole foods. I tended myself to eat a little bit more paleo-like because I felt better that way. But anyway, September 14th is the day that we started. By October 14th, she weighed 71.6 pounds. So I always wrote down, I dug this out too today, guys. So here's the thing. I wrote down every ounce by ounce. We talked about goals. She made goals of what, I think I can get to this. Because success breeds success, right? So every ounce was a little bit of success for her, for us. And it was my husband and I's inspiration to keep going. So 1 month into SCD, she had gained 5.4 pounds, right? Just 1 month. And she was so sick. Her goal was 80 pounds. She really wanted to hit 80 pounds. She made that goal by November 29th, 2020. By December 23rd, she had gained 20 pounds since starting SCD. 20 pounds. Now, I've tried to lose 20 pounds after having her, so I know what 20 pounds is. So it was a miracle. It was bringing our child back right in front of our eyes. Like, literally the most beautiful thing I had seen since her birth. When we started SCD, she was 58 inches. She has grown over a half a foot, right? So I'm not a big person, so she's a little taller than me now. Also, up for debate. If I stand real tall, I think we might be the same. But I think she has me by a smidge, right? So my height has never held me back, and she's still growing. So I feel good and confident there. She weighs 111-ish pounds. So where she is now is everything that I did dream for her. She plays multiple sports. She eats 100% SCD. She does have some cocoa once in a while. But she recently started lifting weights, just a little bit, and she loves it. Thinking about that 2 years ago, she could barely stand, right? She could barely stand. And so 2 years later, I knew that we just had to get through some things. And I knew that we would look back and we would say, okay, that was then and this is now. And so the now part is really what I want to share with everybody listening, because we know what illness looks like. We lived it. It was hell. Complete worst days of our lives. But that was then. And our daughter's name's Ava, and Ava is by far the strongest little human I've ever met. And she inspires me every day to be the mom and the person I want to be. So today in our family, we talk a lot about, and we're talking more about the attitude that we have, right? And other moms have spoken to this, so I won't go too far into it, but that the way we eat is it is the lifestyle we choose. And it is a reflection of our standard for life. We do not accept illness. It's just not something we do. So whatever it takes is what it's going to be. So recently, Ava had some GI upset, and we're like, what's going on here? Like, this is, it's not, she's doing great, but she's not losing weight or anything, but just like, what is it? And I cut out dairy, which seems like an evil joke, because when we talked about SCD and she found out she could eat cheese, she was like, I'm in, that's fine. If I can eat cheese, like, we're good. All right. And now we're at a place where it's like, shoot, dairy is causing some upset, right? But that's right now. That's not down the road, right? We know that our systems change and they heal, and nothing is forever. So if you're really sick out there and you're listening, or your baby's really sick, it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. It is going to be okay. I needed somebody to say that, and I searched and searched and searched for somebody, video or something, to say it's going to be okay. So maybe I can be that. Maybe I can be that person for somebody. It is going to be okay, and it's going to be better than okay, because life will be different, and it is going to be better than what it was. I promise you that. It is going to be better, because you might be sitting here helping somebody else. So you see, I look at our life before. That's my own struggle. I need to look at pictures and not think of the before, right? Before IBD. And then I kind of organize things in my head that way a little bit now. And I feel like as we are further in our health status, right? In our healing, I won't do that as much, but right now I still do. So talking about the attitude that we have, we right now are really talking about the fact that we know that diet is the foundation, but it is not enough. It will not be enough to sustain our kids. They have to learn how to choose health in their heart, right? In their mind. They need to be coached and taught and celebrated for the path that they do choose for healing. It's not our kids' problem that, like we were saying, wait a minute, this is FDA approved. What do you mean it's full of toxins? It is full of toxins. And so that's not our kids' fault. And so when they go to birthday parties and they bring their own cupcake, you're right, it always attracts attention. I was laughing because I went to camp. You guys, again, only child, right? Only child with some health stuff. This is the first time she's been away from me for a week. I posted on my Instagram of like, day 1, I bought 5 plants. Day 2, I'm going to buy 10 more plants, her friends reported back, oh my gosh, Ava's food was amazing. Like, how did you do that? Moms were asking like, oh, how did your mom make all of the foods the same and like better? You know, it's doable. It's not a curse. We're working towards the attitude of like it is a blessing, even though it hurt real bad. And it does still hurt sometimes, you know. Okay, now I'm rambling. We are teaching and learning as a family to be mindful of how we collect our time, what we spend our time doing. You know, I said Ava loves playing sports, but also teaching her that you need to have moments of quiet and learning how to breathe and learning how to say no, thank you, gracefully, to reserve time for her mind and her body and her spirit. So when there are times that she doesn't feel well for whatever reason, she has tools because she is going to leave us, right? Like you were saying, like when she gets to be 18 and now she's going to be going off to college, like she has to make these choices. I can send care packages or whatever, you know, I can do that. I can drop ship from Wellbees, you know, I can do all those things. But those decisions where she's choosing who to have in her life, you know, those people that are there for you, that lift you up, that remind you that you are strong and healthy and such a gift to everybody. And that's something she's going to have to do on her own. So I just wanted to share really quick, how we moved forward. And it was baby steps and it was one day at a time. And there are some things that I look back and I see that we did. So I'm just going to share my screen really quick and then I will wrap this up. All right, I think you can see it. So this is how my family is moving forward. It is an evolution of healing, right? So the very first thing you got to do is you have to buy Breaking the Vicious Cycle book by Elaine, and bless this woman and the work. I don't know where we'd be without it. I really, really don't. So you have to read it and do whatever is comfortable for you, right? You don't have to necessarily read it front to back, though you do need to read the whole thing. But preview it and ask yourself, where is my starting? Maybe I need to understand the science behind it. Maybe I need to go straight to the recipe and then I'll go back and I'll understand the science of it. Whatever works for you. It doesn't have to be like, it can be so daunting, right? So identify what it is that you can bite off, literally, literally and figuratively. Whatever it is you can, then do that, because it is just one step at a time. It is one foot in front of the other. That is it. And if you have to take a moment and pause because you made a mistake, because you bought the wrong spice, okay, it's okay. So start to build your resources. All of these moms on here, I believe all of us have social media. If you don't have social media, or if we don't have social media, or somebody that you're connected with, then you can reach out to us via email or something, or on the Facebook pages. But there are blogs and there are the Facebook groups. There are cookbooks. I have some favorite ones I could share. There are YouTube channels that you are going to find people that are making the yogurt. Like, I'm a visual person. I just needed somebody to make it for me. Like I mentioned, you're going to focus on one thing a day. If you can focus on 3 things, great. But there are days where it was literally like I needed to focus on just maybe cleaning the cupboard or something, you know. Identify your people. This makes me emotional, right? Like people you never would have guessed will show up for you. And then people you really thought would show up do not in the way that you need them. And it's okay to say, I need this, right? And that's hard for me, even now. So find your people, identify them, and then thank them when you can. Just thank them and say, you know what, I didn't know what I needed, but you did. Thank you. Build your professional team. So for my daughter, we have her doctor at Children's. I'm going to be honest with you. An amazing doctor, smart, into nutrition, all of that. Might not be the best fit for my family, but we do still keep him on the team because I do respect his expertise. We have a functional med doctor who's actually in our area, and she has spoke before for the SCDA Rocks conference. That was kind of a weird God thing, but that got connected with her, and she's amazing. We recently enrolled in some coaching that is just for individuals with an IBD because we have identified the goal of making sure that Ava grows to understand that diet is foundational, but your mind and your body overall and your spirit is what's going to sustain your healthy lifestyle. So we've enrolled in that. So that's her professional team. She also sees an acupuncturist as well. So thinking about your next steps, like I mentioned, as a family, we're thinking about mind, body, spirit collectively and how that's going to sustain a lifestyle of health. And then maybe above all, truly believe that you, your child, whoever it is, all of us, are worthy of health and happiness. And so whatever it takes is what we're going to do. So I would show you a picture of Ava, and at first I was thinking I was going to show you a before and after because it is drastic. And when we talk about miracles and you look at the difference, she'll be 15 in a month, and she'll be starting high school. And she's perfect picture of health. She is, you would never, ever know what she's been through, ever. But I decided, and then I confirmed with her, that I'm gonna wait for her to be able to tell her own story someday. And so I'm reserving those befores and those durings and the look at me nows for her. And if she chooses to do that, I will support that. And if she chooses to just live her life focused on her health and she doesn't feel the calling to share it in that way, because this is a permanent recording and I hope it reaches so many people, I'm going to respect that for her. And so just trust me when I tell you. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will see pictures of her. So there is that, but at least it's not part of this. I'll reserve that for her. So who knows, Jeffrey, maybe she'll join someday and she'll be the one to share her story. But until then, I just so humbly thank you guys. Thank you, my people. Thank you, my husband, who knew when to comfort me and knew when to tell me to get up and go, because we got work to do. And I'm so grateful for that, because she is she's amazing, and she's healthy and she's strong, guys. So thank you.